Hi, I'm Shainul from Fortune Law. Today we're going to talk about risk assessments in the light of COVID-19. So as an employer, you have a duty of care towards your employees and your suppliers and your customers. And what that means is that you must do whatever is reasonably possible to ensure their health and well-being and safety. At this current time, some employers and small businesses are thinking about returning to work, particularly in light of the government's guidance that was issued last week. Now, what employers do need to do and what businesses do need to do is 1, make sure that anyone who can work remotely continues to work remotely. 2, carry out a risk assessment of their business. And 3, follow the government's guidance. So the government has issued guidance for 8 particular sectors. Now these include construction and outdoor work, factories, plants and warehouses, laboratories and research facilities, offices, other people's homes, restaurants offering delivery, and also shops and vehicles. The first issue is that everyone should work from home unless they can't work from home. Now I understand that's been a little bit confusing for a lot of people. So let's take into account certain industries. So a cleaner, for example, can't work from home. A beautician can't work from home. A chef in a restaurant can't necessarily work from home. A barrister or a solicitor could work from home unless they have to go to court when they can't. So therefore it's important to look at the different scenarios in your business and the different people working in your business to understand whether or not that work can be done remotely or whether or not it can't. So if your work can be done remotely, you still have things to think about. One of the things that you need to consider is who can work remotely and the minimum number of people that are required to operate on site and effectively. You also need to think about employees who are working from home and what they need to be provided with in order to carry out that work effectively. For example, IT systems. You also need to consider the well-being of those employees and to check in on them in order to find out how they're doing and whether or not they need additional support. In terms of returning to work, the guidelines are helpful in setting out areas which you should really be considering. So start times and leaving times. Would you need to put in place staggered entry and exit times to avoid overcrowding? Do you need to measure out 2-meter distance in the entirety of your building or workspace to understand exactly what that social distancing looks like using tape and other measures in order to assist your team? What will you do about facilities in terms of extra cycle racks? How do you deal with entry and access points? Do you need to change pin sentry type access points to more fob-like non-touch entry points? When people are conducting meetings, make sure those meetings are absolutely essential and they can't be done remotely, and those attending should be absolutely essential to that meeting. Where possible, meetings should be conducted outdoors and always at 2 meters. When team members are working in the same space, in an office for example, make sure that they are able to be socially distanced using that 2 meters, and it may be that you need to configure your workspace. Make sure that if members of your team can't have that social distancing of 2 meters front facing, then they sit side by side. Reduce the number of people they come into contact with from day to day. So it might be that you actually have to have certain team members coming in on certain days, other team members coming in on other days to reduce the amount of contact people have with each other. This is a time for judgment and good judgment, and the starting point really is to look at your business, assess the type of business it is, who's involved in it, what contact those individuals will have with other people, and how to minimise that contact. Ensure that you are taking into account best practice and helping to protect the health and safety and well-being of those who come in contact with your team, whether it's suppliers or clients or other individuals. The objective of the guidance is to ensure that all companies carry out a risk assessment. Now, if you employ less than 5 people, you don't have to put this assessment into writing, but if you employ more than 5 people, you're required to do so. In addition, you will need to publish your risk assessment on your website if you are a business that has more than 50 people working for it. But we would recommend that all businesses, 1, carry out a risk assessment and put it in writing, and 2, publish it so that your staff, your employees, your suppliers, your customers know that you have taken appropriate steps in order to protect their well-being. There is some helpful guidance in the Health and Safety Executives websites and some template documents that you can use. But the important thing, and it is also stressed by them as by the government, that do not use templates simply as a tick box exercise and just to carry out a paper trail. It is really important you think these things through and actually analyse the risks of your business. And it's equally important to talk to your staff and team members about this and actually take into account their concerns and how they foresee their role in the business, whether or not they're comfortable about coming back to work, how they will transport themselves to and from work, what hours they feel more comfortable working. Are they living with people who are shielding? Do they need to work remotely from home and have that work redistributed if at all possible? So communication is going to be key, as it has been up to now. You should also place a notice in your workplace to confirm that you have complied with the guidance relevant to your sector. Finally, all businesses must carry out a risk assessment, and it will be different from business to business. You also are required to comply with your legal obligations over and beyond the guidance. So if you've got any doubts at all, or you've got any questions, then please seek professional advice. We're happy to help you. We're here to help you. So please contact us. Thank you for watching. I hope you found that useful.